YouTube. Today we're talking about the Squier Bass VI Antigua, specifically the 3 issues that it came with from the Court Indonesia factory. Issue number 1, and perhaps the most important, is the wiring. Not only were there some added and removed grounds that I needed to correct to fix the humming issue, there was also a ripped pickup wire coming off. Take a look at this picture. So as you can see, they actually had tried to tape over it, and I had ripped some of the tape off to expose this ripped outer shield. So I had to replace that wire to make sure that I had a good connection and that the whole outer area of that wire had its intact shielding. So I fixed the ground wires, I replaced that wire. I have a whole video dedicated to that if you want to dive deep. But for the short version, take a listen to the hum before I fixed it. I'm going to tap on the strings so you can hear some of the creating a ground and then removing it to get the real hum effect. And then I'm going to follow up that immediately with after the wiring job. Take a listen. So the hum is definitely still there, but it's way less and I think far more reasonable for regular playing. Issue number 2, moving right along. Issue number 2 is the knocking of the tremolo arm. Now, this is a Jazzmaster problem, Jaguar problem, Bass VI problem. This is not a unique problem. The Bass VI actually has a decent trem because the arm stays in place, which not all trems do when it comes to these Squier Jazzmaster tremolos, but there's a knocking sound when you move it from 2 places. The first place is the sleeve of the trem arm, and then the second place that there's a knocking sound, which is way worse and that needed to be resolved, was the actual like claw part underneath the Jazzmaster trem. I've got a picture here so you can see. But from the way it was set up from the factory, anytime you use the wiggle stick, that underneath part knocked against the top, and that was translated directly into the pickups. It was not a good situation. So take a listen to this clip and you're going to hear both sounds, and I'll highlight which one is the sleeve sound and which one is the underneath sound. The main fix that you need to do is use this screw here. So that middle screw there controls the pitch of your arm and the claw underneath. So if you adjust that, you can move the claw away from the flat part of the Jazzmaster bridge. I'll post a link also in the description on how to set up the Jazzmaster bridges that explains it with pictures and everything. So problem number 1 was the wiring, which we had to rewire and replace the bridge hot wire. Problem number 2 was the trem arm knocking in the sleeve and against the tremolo assembly itself. And then problem number 3 was the setup. So in addition to the standard Jazzmaster setup things, which include shimming the neck pocket, raising and Loctiting the Mustang bridge, and then setting up the action, of course, the big difference in addition to that is changing the strings. The Squier strings from the factory are woefully thin, especially on the low E, so you need to swap those out for a thicker pair of strings to get a strong bass note. Those are the 3 things I had to do straight from the factory to get this bass playing optimally. I hope you enjoyed this video.